Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady sipping pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock and twirl, somewhere orbited. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them to simple that we absorb it quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it if using cause informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this reporting ships important. Yes, of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant disinforming this. It looked like we were storing tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those as subordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady sipper pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? You know, we're just going to expose Christmas. No big deal. Everyone just chill. It's okay. What up, everybody at YouTube? Oh, we got Dlive rocking. What's up, everybody in Dlive? I just squared it. Wrong saloon, bro. What up, all the legends in Dlive? Thank you, D, for the lemons. All right. Yeah, there you go. I tried to make a video to shout out the patrons, and it's not my specialty, but I think it looks all right. Looks all right. Good old classic PowerPoint. So yeah, of course, shout out to all the patrons, our legends. I say we just get into it. So what's the deal with Christmas? A little overview, and then we're gonna watch some videos. I think that the way people have been conditioned and engineer videos really help drive points home, especially when I can jump in and commentate on some of the grappled parts. But we're gonna watch a few videos. Not interested in talking about any drama. Just a heads up if anyone knows what I'm alluding to. I just don't care. I literally don't think I could care less than I do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're better off. Yeah, so simply, let's just think about some very weird things, right? So everyone claims that they freaking worship or celebrate Yeshua's birthday when they call him Jesus on the 25th of December. And of course, he wasn't born there. He wasn't born then. But we can narrow down his birth really within like a 90-minute window. Would be September 11th, which the whole calendar is wrong, right? But anyway, let's just think about some of the things on the surface that's real weird about Christmas. Okay? We have a bunch of people, including Christians, lying to their kids and telling them this story. So for one, you're lying to your child. You're just straight up lying to your child in an attempt to bribe them to behave well. You're just straight up lying to your kid. So that right there is already, that should be a red flag, but it's been so normalized. No, you're the bad guy. That's not, because you're not lying to your kid. Right. But anyway, of course, Santa rearranged Satan. He comes out of the fireplace. He comes at night when no one's awake or paying attention or alert. I wonder who else does that. Like metaphysical entities that maybe attack you when you're asleep or something, right? So Santa, Satan rearranged, comes through the fireplace at nighttime when no one's paying attention, sneaks in your house. He's always watching you, which would be an attributable characteristic to God. Okay. He's always watching you. He's making a list. God has the book of life. So who cares about Satan's list? Go pray, basically, to Santa or Satan and ask for materialistic things. Say things like, Santa, I know you can see me. Santa, I promise I'll be a good boy. I just want a PlayStation 5. You've lied to your children, coaxing them into praying to an unidentified figure that isn't Yeshua, and ask for materialistic things as you tell them and lie to them, saying that some creepy old dude is going to sneak into their house at nighttime through the fire with his name rearranged as Santa, and we're just supposed to act like this is all normal, no big deal, and somehow we're the bad guys if we expose it. So there's just basic things that people should be able to put together on their own without researching the history. It's just so simple. It's such a graveled holiday. So we're just going to get in to cover a bunch of the basics because the way that I do things, I usually ramble. I'm sure most people know that. And so I want to make maybe a little bit more concise in case some people don't know a lot of this stuff, right? There you go, Mr. Anderson. Santa, Satan, Saturn. Exactly. And we'll get into, of course, the entire timeline and celebration practice of Christmas and the more modern origin of it. I'm making a point on that for a reason. This isn't the beginning of it. It's Saturnalia, right? Which is a festival worshiping Saturn. So celebrating Saturn. That's literally where Christmas comes from, guys. And now think about the fact we just had a conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn in the week of Saturnalia, which is like 17th to the 25th. So, the grabblers are just probably squirting everywhere right now. All right, so let's just check out this video. I think this is a funny one to break the ice. I know this is going to be a tough one for some people. I think most people here are probably base enough to know that like Christmas is super grabbled and this is low-hanging fruit. But what I hear often is, well, it's about your intention. So we're going to cover that. We're going to cover the people that because of Cogdis are trying to make this more comfortable for them. And hey, bro, that's weak. I love you, but you're being weak if that's you. So let's check this out to break the ice a little bit. I think this is pretty funny.
73 degrees, perfect. Angel, a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about. You hear that, boy? That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday, and Jesus probably hates you for celebrating it.
Ain't be no Scrooges in this house, boy. Christmas is all about. You hear that, boy? That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday, and Jesus probably hates you for celebrating it.
Ain't gonna be no Scrooges in this house, boy.
Look, Granddad, it's clear from the scripture that Jesus was not born in winter. The shepherds who saw the angels announcing his birth would not have been out in their fields in December. The Palestinian winters are too cold, if you believe in that sort of thing. The truth is, Christmas evolved from the Roman holiday Saturnalia, a winter festival where men gave gifts to each other. They also would get drunk, have sex with each other, and beat their wives. People would act so crazy on Christmas, the holiday was outlawed by the Protestant Church until the 1800s. As a matter of fact, the United States Congress... Granddad?
I'm sorry, boy. What was that?
I just explained the entire history of Christmas.
Yeah. There you go. There's our intro. Truth always hurts. That's what a bunch of you people do. You just turn into where whatever you hear that isn't comfortable, it turns into the Charlie Brown adults, where you just can't understand it. But look, man, it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up. We need to break a bunch of these spells so we don't realize the implications of them. You're a little carnal mind. I know you think you know everything. I don't know everything. And I'm just simply trying to make sure that you realize this is way deeper than you think. And you may think it's all about intention. You can do what you want to. You can pick and choose what you do. You can pick and choose the pagan practices and stuff. And I get it. I've heard it my whole life. Every time I've ever brought this up. But it's much deeper than you think. And when we're getting in this time period, I don't know, there's a conjunction of these freaking deified rebellious angels going on. And we live in 2020 with potentially the Antichrist at the forehead of it, right? Like, we should probably be a little more focused on what's the little occultic practices. So I thought I'd bring that to lighten things up. Maybe I know that this is like a sacred cow for some people or whatever, but whatever. So let's just move on to the next one. Pay attention if you don't know this stuff. I just think this is the best way to do it, guys. So just bear with me. I mean, it puts a bunch of information in here that I would scattergun you with.
Where do we get Christmas from? From the Bible or paganism? Here are some astonishing facts which may shock you. Do you know the origins of the Christmas tree, of Santa Claus? Does Christmas really celebrate the birthday of Jesus? Was he really born on December 25th? Did Paul, the apostles, and the early Christian church of the New Testament celebrate Christmas? Do you know what the Bible says about the Christmas tree? Very few know why we do the things that we do, or where our customs come from. We were born into a world full of customs. Look at what Jeremiah the prophet says. It warns you not to follow the way of the heathens, for the heathens go into the forest, and they cut down a tree, and they fasten it down, and they deck it with silver and gold. Ain't that what you do? Santa Claus knocked Jesus out of the top spot, and the merchants who don't even believe in Jesus are busy selling you foolishness, making themselves rich and you poor for another year on the basis of a lie. And that's why they call it Xmas, because you don't know who it is that you are worshiping.
Oh, that was some gravy.
Nimrod is who you're really celebrating on the 25th day of December. You're not celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And if you are, you're making a mockery of it.
The real origin of Christmas goes back to ancient Babylon. The name Nimrod is Hebrew and derives from Marad, meaning he rebelled. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod. They celebrated this famous birthday over most of the known world for centuries before the birth of Jesus. December 25th was highly honored and recognized by Nimrod supporters. Many centuries later, it was Christianized as being the birthday of Jesus Christ. Nimrod was the founder of a religious system that began in ancient Babylon and has always opposed God. The Bible states that Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
I gotta give it to him. That's a pretty epic beard, bro. I mean, my man's got the beard game down. I guess if you're supposedly to-their God, you have to at least have a good beard game, though.
Babylon, and has always opposed God. The Bible states that Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord and began to be mighty in the earth. Biblical traditions associating Nimrod.
Sorry, I'll stop pause. Look how casually this dude just grabbing.
The Bible states that Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
Look, they're not even tripping. They're just like, oh, he's got just another lion. No big deal. I'm just gonna throat punch this lion. All right.
To be mighty in the earth. Biblical traditions associating Nimrod with the Tower of Babel led to his reputation as a king who was rebellious against God. This heaven-defying group of people wanted one government to rule the world and one religion to sway the hearts of mankind. This was their attempt to defy God and his authority, and the ringleader of this scheme was Nimrod. Nimrod had a plan to weld together and strengthen this evil religious system, and so he married his own mother, who was Semiramis. She was the first deified queen of Babylon, and Nimrod was the first deified king. Semiramis was known to be as wicked as her son, Nimrod. Incest was used here as a basis to unite this newly false religious system. This false system had a sacrificial plan, just as God had a plan of sacrifice. But pagan worship required the offering of human beings, which was often the sons and daughters of the worshippers. A counterfeit holy day was instituted in honor of the sun god, Sunday. After Nimrod's death, his so-called mother-wife, Semiramis, propagated the doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit being. She claimed the full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, she claimed Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. Traditionally, a Yule log was burned in the fireplace on Christmas Eve, and during the night, as the log's embers died, there appeared in the room, as if by magic, a Christmas tree surrounded by gifts. The Yule log represented the sun god Nimrod, and the Christmas tree represented himself, resurrected as his own son Tammuz. So our Christmas tree and our Yule log have tremendous meaning. The Yule log is the dead Nimrod, human ruler of ancient Babylon, who was eventually deified as the sun incarnate and hence a god. The Christmas tree is the mystical Tammuz, the slain god come to life again. This is the true origin of the Christmas character.
Guys,
real
look.
God come to life. The Christmas tree.
Look at this, bro. I mean, guys, y'all got to chill. They want to bring about the reign of Nimrod again, and I know what we'll do. We'll just keep celebrating his birthday and all of the practices attributed to him. That checks out.
Is the mystical Tammuz, the slain god come to life again. This is the true origin of the Christmas character we all know as Santa Claus, who brings gifts underneath the evergreen tree every year on December 25th, which is very similar to the ruler Nimrod and his son Tammuz. Nimrod, the sun god reborn. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod, and here we have the real origin of the Christmas tree. He who controls the past controls the future.
Look at this creepy stuff, dude. You got the duality here, right? And this is a duality right here that you see with Krampus, right? It's exactly what it is, which we'll cover that in a second. That part's a little dark, but it's just the duality represented. Where you get mother, father, where you get the Baphomet, everything. It's a mastering of duality. So Santa is literally a figure representing Nimrod and his quote-unquote divine duality.
So much of this world is backwards and inverted. Who is responsible for all of this? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole earth. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from the heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. It's time we face the facts. This world is deceived, just as God prophesied it would be.
Yeah, I wonder why they love to always show Yeshua being crucified. Huh?
It seems like this story has been told throughout our history with many different players and many different associated religions.
Yeah, take it in. Take it in.
It
Let's
seems
go,
like
Lewis.
this story has been told throughout our history with many different players and many different associated religions.
Mm-hmm.
Nimrod's church had its beginning at Babylon, with the construction of the Tower of Babel on the plain of Shinar by the river Euphrates, many generations after the deluge. At the time of the construction of Babylon, at the Tower of Babel, mankind had multiplied and spoken one language. Cush, who was the son of Ham and grandson of Noah, helped to plan with his son Nimrod, a blueprint by which to rule the world of humanity through a wicked counterfeit religion. Nimrod was the originator of sun worship and founder of Babylon. A Bible translation says, Nimrod became a mighty man of sin, a murderer of innocent men, and a rebel before the Lord. The beginning of Nimrod's plan had its origin at Babel, which was later known as Babylon. This city of Babylon, with the tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, was built by Nimrod. They called the Tower of Babel the gate to heaven, but God called it Babel confusion, for their God confused the language of the people, which forced them to scatter. Although all these Christian traditions have their roots in Babylonian mystery religion, it does not mean all these traditions are bad, such as giving gifts to one another and spending time with family and the ones you love. These are things that make us feel good, and I'm sure most of us do not have bad intentions come Christmas Day.
Shut up, dude. Dude, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're doing it at the same time in the same festival with the same traditions as the freaking thing that's all about Nimrod. And they got everyone in the world doing it at the same exact time while they're constantly trying to bring Nimrod back. So, cool story.
I'm sure most of us do not have bad intentions come Christmas Day.
All right, so cover a few of those things there. I see someone saying in the chat, Eric Dubay has a video about Santa and mushrooms. Yeah, I've seen it. I forgot what it's called. Pretty interesting stuff. That's just really addressing like more modern celebrations and what that's evolved into. Like this was not the origin of it. The origin of it was about Nimrod, which is what I'm talking about. The actual origin of it, where it goes back. But yeah, a lot of people do have a whole bunch of traditions across the world that allude to mushrooms, referring to Santa or more so Christmas, etc. And where you get the fireplace, you have to dry the mushrooms out in front of the fire, and they would put them underneath the tree as a present. And that's where you get the red and the white from. So he's right about that. Yeah, I mean, I looked into a lot of that. That a lot of people do take psychedelics and attribute it to certain things to do with Christmas. This ties full circle into the real gravy, though, which is that it's a giant occultic ritual celebrating Nimrod. So, of course, they want everybody tripping balls while they're celebrating Nimrod. It's a freaking occultic festival. It's a Luciferian festival. It's a festival for Nimrod. Of course, they want you peeking beyond the veil. That's the whole point. That's why I have a real issue with people that push psychedelics so hard. It's just like, dude, chill out. Or do you even know what you're freaking advocating for? I didn't know. Let's watch one more video.
Christmas is that time of year when many children are on their best behavior.
Y'all are going to be all right. 5 minutes. I'm sorry some of these people are very monotone. But, yeah, let's check it.
Trying to avoid Santa's naughty list, and millions of others celebrate the birth of Jesus worldwide. However, there's a darkness that surrounds the holiday that many love and cherish, and most are completely unaware of it. The darkness originates from the elements that make Christmas what it is today.
All right, so here you go, guys. You got 5 minutes. This is going to get a little bit dark. I think everyone should be able to handle it, but there's your disclaimer.
From the origins of Santa and his devilish associate to the origins of Christmas Day itself, which originated from sin and mayhem. These are three of the most dark and sinister things about Christmas I bet you didn't know. Number 3. Many of you might know Santa Claus as a fictional character who originated from Saint Nicholas, who was known as a patron saint of children and gift bringer. And over hundreds of years, and after many modifications, he became the jolly fella most kids know and adore today. But what many might not know is how Saint Nicholas became known as a patron saint of children. During the Middle Ages, there was an enormously well-known story regarding this. The story tells of
All right, I just gotta, 3 wise men didn't travel to find Nimrod. Look, here's the deal, man. 3 wise men didn't travel anywhere in December. That's the whole point. This time of the year is about the summer, the winter solstice, the sun, and it's a freaking dude. Objectively, the festival in December is about Nimrod. It has nothing to do with Yeshua. It has nothing to do with 3 wise men. It has nothing to do when he was born or that he was born of a virgin. It literally has nothing to do with that. He was born in September, specifically September 11th, within a specific 90-minute window. Everybody knows that he was born in the warmer months. Everyone knows that. Okay, so when you go celebrate Christmas and you do what the Catholic Luciferians do and you make a whole nativity scene, right, with inaccurate interpretations, and then you start so 25th is actually the conclusion of the week-long celebration that starts on the 17th. And so when you go around saying Jesus, 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 which actually literally translates to something to do with Zeus, and then you're hanging up the trees like the pagans did when we were told not to do that. You're putting gold and silver on it when we were told not to do that. You're using mistletoe. You're using wreaths. We'll get into all of this. All of this is the pagan traditions that were attributed to Saturn and prior to that Nimrod. So when you celebrate things at this time of year and a big festival of giving gifts underneath wreaths and lights and Christmas trees, these are all about Nimrod. Objectively, it's objectively about Nimrod. Thousands of years before Yeshua was even born.
Bishop St. Nicholas entering an inn where its keeper had just murdered 3 boys and pickled their dismembered bodies in barrels in the basement. It is told that the bishop was able to sense the crime and even resurrect the victims as well, which is one of the reasons he became known as a patron saint of children. This story was eventually replaced by one less gruesome, which became more popular for obvious reasons. Number 2. Many children today know that Santa Claus is always watching, judging their character, giving gifts to the nice ones, and lumps of coal to the naughty ones. However, this wasn't always the case. From the 1700s all the way through the early 1900s, his dark companion, Krampus, was the one responsible for handling the misbehaving children. The long-horned, shaggy goat-like
no big deal. Let's brainwash our kids with a story about literally torturing and kidnapping children in its origin. There's nothing weird at all, or eerie, or evil, or satanic about any of this. Please, let's just keep pretending that we can stick elves all over the house every different day and say that it's moving around with magic and bringing you presents, and be a good boy. You're going to be on a list. Don't worry about the list that God makes in the book of life. We have a list from Satan. You better be on Satan's good list, because Satan's enlightened. He has the good and the bad. He has the duality of good and bad. And Krampus is going to find you and beat you and steal you and kidnap you and, I don't know, maybe commit some type of pedophilia, cultic practice, allegedly. Do you see the dark undertones of what's going on here? It's been shrouded in light and love and all these positive attributes. This is how it always works. It masquerades as light. The origin is about kidnapping children and beating them. If you weren't good, then Krampus would come in and kidnap you and beat you. In some of the stories, he'd take you to hell for a year. This is weird, dude.
Monster with a long, angry face and a long, forked tongue was in the same league as Santa himself, according to legend. If children misbehave, St. Nicholas would send his associate, Krampus, his dark partner, would show up and punish the wicked child. He would beat him with a bundle of birch sticks and whip him with horsehair, and finally throw him in a sack or a wicker basket to take him down to hell for a year. Recently, Krampus has been gaining popularity, in large part due to the loose adaptation of the legend, which was turned into a horrible motion picture bearing his name. So some parents might be retelling the legend of Krampus and scaring the crap out of their children in the near future. Who knows?
I'm going to start calling Trump Trumpus. Donald Trumpus.
Number 1. The origin of the holiday itself is surrounded in darkness. While millions believe that Christmas, which is celebrated on December 25th, marks the birth of Jesus, this is very unlikely, as most scholars believe that if Jesus was indeed born under the circumstances the Bible describes and in the region, he was most likely born during a warmer month.
September.
So, where do we get December 25th from then? From the pagan holiday called Saturnalia, which actually predates Christianity itself.
What a crazy picture. Yeah, this is Brod's just going to jump in here between a sword and a spear and say, chill out, guys. Hold up. This is so weird, dude. We got children just laying around naked, and we have like women all around naked and holding up babies and spears all around them. And there's nothing weird at all about this, though.
Saturnalia was a week-long holiday that ran from December 17th through December 25th. During Roman times, they honored the god Saturn, which included human sacrifice, intoxication, naked women caroling, and rape, and much more.
Oh, this is no big deal, right? Let's just have the baby like being innocently, defenselessly thrown over the knee of Satan, Saturn. This is cool, though.
Human sacrifice, intoxication, naked women caroling, and rape, and much more. During these 7 days, there was no punishment for breaking any law. Much like the modern movie, The Purge, Christianity adopted Saturnalia in hopes of converting pagans into Christianity by promising they could still celebrate as Christians.
All right. Well, I guess we just got 30 seconds left.
However, since Saturnalia didn't follow Christian principles, Christian leaders eventually decided it couldn't be celebrated as it had been and just designated the last day of Saturnalia as the birthday of Jesus, which gave birth to Christmas as we know it today. Hey everyone, JC here. I hope you enjoyed.
All right. So, yeah, and I can show you a couple more videos in a second. It's hard to find any videos that aren't just like, you know what I mean? But they're real boring. But Saturnalia, let's break it down. Like I said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but hey, dude, I've been giving y'all back-to-back streams about how Trump's probably the Antichrist. So obviously, I'm just going to tell you what I think I need to hear. And this is probably the most important year that you wake up and realize you need to stop celebrating this. And that's why I say God always wins, right? There's positive to the fact of breaking up family. Like, we're not allowed to get together for Christmas. What's going on? No, it's actually a good thing maybe, right? Because we're not supposed to be doing that anyway. You're supposed to get with your family all the time. Why do we just do it once a year? Go broke to buy them things they don't need, put all of our faith in materialistic things, falsely attribute a satanic ritual to Yeshua when he wasn't even born in that month. So Saturnalia, what did they do? He alluded to the purge, right? So it was the idea of like a purge. So everything gets flipped over. So the kings and the rulers, etc. The idea of Saturnalia is that, well, the people at the bottom get moved up to the top. So the slaves, etc., they get to move up to the top. For example, if you had a slave, it was custom that what you would do was that day they would be like the master, and you would cook them food. Now, this didn't typically happen. This was the idea, but usually what they did was, well, it would just be like you're allowed to talk to them like an equal for that day. And then they would still have to make the food. The slaves would still have to make the food, but then they would come in and they would get up at the table and actually serve it. Right. But so then they would have all these festivals. What they would do is they'd have this huge party, and then they'd pick someone out. They pick someone out that would be like the servant or the fool. And then they would just do whatever they said. So any command they gave, they had to listen to them. But it was all done under the understanding this was just a big joke, basically. They're just trolling. And they'd prop him up and carry him around and cheer and chant and celebrate him and get him drunk, right? At the end of the week, that character was always sacrificed. Yeah. So they flip society. They have the lower people up there. They treat them and trick them and act like they're special for a week, and then they kill them. Now, this type of practice still goes on in occultic practices today, right? That's what they do. Just like whenever they take like the male escorts and the crazy Bohemian Grove or whatever, right? They like, oh, they get drunk, you get to party with us, you're all our friend. The next thing you know, you're actually like the bait, you're the prey, you're the one that you end up getting sacrificed. So that's what's actually going on. And I think it's time people maybe wake up to it and stop just blindly believing anything that they ever hear. So I'm going to fund this other video I want to show you. You're going to have to give me a second, though, because I had to restart my computer and everything closed. But the videos are the best way, I think. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to find one that's not so, like, monotoned. All right, here we go. I like this. This is cool. So, sorry, guys. I'm just playing videos because it's the easiest way. There's so much information, but it's very simple, right? Saturnalia, that's attributed to Saturn, Satan, the black cube of Saturn, right? That's what that represents. You can fold it over infinitely, et cetera, et cetera. That's where you can take the cross, make it a cube. So the cube of Saturn, they deify the rebellious angels. Y'all call them planets, or humans call them planets, which just means wonder or wandering stars. The wandering angels that rebelled, they just lined up in the sky, right? That's their deities. So whenever they say that they have deities, they're not just being metaphorical and allegorical. They literally worship the rebellious angels that are above you. People don't think they're angels. People think that they're just, balls of gas in a vacuum. So they don't understand what's really going on. So whenever you go and you take part in a festival that's about Nimrod and it's called, and then evolved into what's called Saturnalia, which is the same thing, okay, and you're celebrating all of the practices, you should start to ask yourself, what's going on here? What am I being tricked into? What am I being duped into? Just like Easter. It's just like Easter. So I have this video where this other guy kind of breaks it down, and it's not so boring, but I don't agree with everything he's going to say. I guess we can watch that one though. It's all right. It's all right. You just got to watch everything with discernment, guys. Let's check it out. That maybe add a little bit of light. I know this is really, my name is Charity. This is really going to be hard for some people to accept this stream, but what can you do?
Croft. It's Christmas time. But why this time? I mean, I'm sure you already know December 25th has nothing to do with Jesus' birthday. According to the Bible, he was born sometime between spring and early October, but it was absolutely not December 25th. So then what is the reason for the season? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's most likely because in the year 336, the Roman Emperor Constantine was trying to do away with paganism and really make Christianity a thing. Well, at that time, the biggest ancient festival was something called Saturnalia. This was a festival celebrating the god Saturn that lasted a little over a week starting on December 17th. The ancient Romans chose this time to celebrate Saturn because it was during winter solstice, which is when the sun is in a very specific position in the sky. Now, we won't get too far into that, but listen, once you learn why Saturday is named after Saturn and why Sunday is named after the sun, and notice how most religious activities take place on one of those 2 days, a lot of things will start making sense to you. Anyway, so Constantine thought, since everybody's already celebrating at this time, I can just make this the day that we celebrate Jesus, and the whole world can make a much easier transition to Christianity. You gotta realize that at this time, most people worship multiple deities and were so-called pagans. Well, since Constantine and the Council of Nicaea were hell-bent on making Christianity the most powerful religion on earth, they just slapped their holidays on top of pagan holidays so the people could convert easier. Side note, the reason why Easter is always celebrated on a different day every year is because it's always the Sunday after the first full moon of the vernal equinox. Super pagan, nothing to do with Jesus' resurrection, nothing. Anywho, Christmas trees were used to decorate Saturnian temples. Mistletoe was used by ancient druids because they believe it had mystical powers. And presents were given during winter solstice to celebrate the spring to come. Pagan.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to watch any more of that guy. Anyway, moving on. Actually, let me check this out. I see my boy Mr. Anderson dropped a link. Let's check out what you're talking about, bro. Oh, look, that's me. Bam. All right, let's just check out. I'm just going to roll with what you sent. I'm going to watch it for the first time with you. Council of Nicaea was Grabylonians. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I swear, I'm thinking about doing a stream on the Grabble Babble, the Tower of the Grabble Babble, or the Tower of, or I don't know. Yeah, the Grabble Babble, or like the Babble of Grabble, the Tower of Grabbling Babble. I don't know. But anyway, because I think they're trying to rebuild that thing, bro. All right, moving on. We're just going to watch what Mr. Anderson sent, see what it is. Oh, put your big boy pants on. Modern day Krampus celebration. 2010. Krampuslauf, Gras. Yay, let's celebrate Christmas. Oh, yay. Looks like demons. Yeah, Christmas. Oh, this has to do with Yeshua for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's not creepy. What does that say? What's the shield say right here? Oh, Exulo Diablo Graz. That checks out. Oh, nothing weird here. Baby's crying. Oh, what kind of a person lets their little baby? What is going on, bruh? Someone needs to be drop kicked right in the throat. Oh, okay. This looks like a pleasant family event. I think we get it. This is creepy, bro. There you go, whipping the bad kid. This is the sad part, right? This kid is so sunken into a world that he had nothing to do with, that's so detached from reality and deluded. He doesn't understand the spiritual importance of what's going on around him. And shame on the parents. Oh, why would we not want to celebrate this, guys? This has got to do with Yeshua, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, this got to. That's probably what Yeshua wants you doing right here. This is probably has something to do with Yeshua, huh, guys? Oh, we won't. I know I wasn't born on that day, and this has nothing to do with him, but we can celebrate him, even though the whole history about it's about demons. There's nothing to see here. No big deal. Now, this is the part that's going to get where people are going to get uncomfortable. Guys, look, it's okay. We all make mistakes. But I'm about to play this next video. Dude's going to break it down for you. It's not like, oh, well, it's about your intention. You get to celebrate whatever you want to. Well, what happened in the Bible whenever they tried to attribute a pagan holiday and then revere the one true God through it? Well, what did God do? He was so infuriated, he almost wiped out the entire civilization. But he had mercy on them. So God doesn't care if you celebrate pagan holidays, including Christmas, all about Satan and Saturn and Nimrod, the Antichrist, the literal Antichrist that's going to come back and reign again. Nimrod, right? They don't care. No, just celebrate that. Celebrate Ishtar, the pagan goddess of fertility, represented by a bunny because they're really fertile. There's nothing to do with the resurrection of Yeshua at all. But just celebrate Easter, celebrate Christmas, celebrate the Day of the Dead, Halloween. Celebrate your birthday when even Yeshua didn't care about his birthday, didn't even tell anyone a specific birthday, and none of the prophets or anyone ever announced their birthday or cared about their birthday. So celebrate all of these, but God forbid you look at the right calendar and you actually follow the feasts and the actual celebrations and the actual Sabbath. You can't be bothered with that, right? That's too much. No, there's no big deal here, Austin. I can't be bothered with having to take care of certain festivals and certain feasts. I have my own festivals. And yeah, I know they're pagan in tradition and blasphemous to God, and they're actually engineered by the very people that hate God. And every single aspect of it, including the gifts, including the singing, including the getting drunk, including the tree and what you put on the tree, every aspect of it is in reference to Nimrod, the actual adversary of Yeshua. And then we have Krampus, the evil demon that comes and takes your kids and beats them. And then we have, to this day, people running around dressing up like demons celebrating Christmas, because that's where it actually all came from, was the idea of Saturn and Satan. And then there's nothing to see here. No big deal, because you get to choose whether or not God's cool with it, or it's about what you think. This is just like the doctrines that tickle your ear, where all you have to do is say Jesus once a week, and you can go do whatever you want to because you said the word Jesus, right? It's the same thing. No, because when this happened in the scriptures, God was very mad. Very, very, very mad. So there you go. You don't need to play games with God. I guess I have to be the one that brings you the uncomfortable news. It's not like it's not like you're condemned and doomed and damned to hell because you practiced Christmas before. But you can't pretend you don't know now, and you need to figure it out. That's my take. Let's check out, dude.
I'm going to try to be as gentle as possible on this here. There's a lot of really, really good.
I mean, guys, like I said, it's impossible to even find real good information, much less one that's like really attention capturing. So this dude breaks it down pretty good, though.
I'm going to try to be as gentle as possible on this here. There's a lot of really, really good, loving Christian people who really sincerely do love the Lord. They've never heard of these things. They've never studied the historical origins of these traditions. I don't want to come down too hard on anybody, but now considering the unprecedented falling away from the church and atheism, it is vitally important that we check ourselves. We have to come to grips with the reality of this issue. Continuing to associate our Messiah with these ancient heathen practices and some of these ridiculous fairy tales is only really accelerating this falling away from the church. Especially, we have to come to grips with the reality of this issue. Continuing to associate our Messiah with
reference to Zeus, and he's the reason for the season, literally. Yeah, good times.
these ancient accelerating.
Oh,
and some of these.
Oh, what's up with this? Oh, this probably has to do with Yeshua, huh? This probably has to do with when Yeshua was born, though, huh? Yeah.
Ridiculous fairy tales is only really accelerating this falling away from the church, especially with the youth.
Oh, look, all this stuff about Nimrod practicing all the practices you still do to this day. Oh, wow. This is, you know what? This is probably actually about Yeshua, though.
It's falling away from the church, especially with the youth. This new generation is not investing its heart and soul in what it perceives to be an obsolete fiction that demands their attention. You know, the Christian church today doesn't have the monopoly on our attention that it used to have maybe more than 50 years ago. The church today is competing with the entertainment saturated type society where these old fairy tales are not going to really cut it anymore. They're going to have to come to grips with and embrace the reality of who Jesus really was.
Someone said, where's this Nimrod you talk about? Nimrod's the one that built the Tower of Babel. Everyone spoke the same language. It was what I used to call the one world order, the first world order, but really, as my boy Vader Bear pointed out, technically it was the second world order because there was a world order prior to the flood, antediluvian era, which tracks back to Atlantis, which all the special boys track themselves back to. That's where you get Aryans, the Aryan race that was removed, Aryan nobility all across the world tracks back to Atlantis. You then had Nimrod, Babylon, the Tower of Babel, the world order, all underneath one reign. He supposedly was 2/3 God, 1/3 man. He had sex with his mother. This is where you get the story of Isis and Osiris and Gilgamesh, Apollo, numerous other names. It's all the same name, Nimrod. Where's he at now? Well, he was beheaded and he was dismembered into 13 body parts. They found all of them except for his penis, is how the story goes. And then Isis made a gold phallus and replaced his male anatomy and then became a bird and had sex with him or something weird like that. But anyway, yeah, the point is that Nimrod is the figure that has taken over the entire world. He will, again, this is all reverence to him, to their deity of Nimrod, and in an attempt to eventually bring him back for his final reign.
Rather than insisting that the lies we inherited from our fathers are somehow true, it is an irrefutable historical fact that Christmas, its date of December 25th, the decorated tree, the majority of its traditions, are a continuation of Nimrod's Babylonian winter solstice sun worship festivals that were later modified to engulf and absorb Christianity into itself.
Hello.
You know, however well-meaning quoting the soundbite that Jesus is the reason for the season, maybe that soundbite really has become atheist rocket fuel. And also, if you just consider the facts and the reality, it is that soundbite is also bearing a gross false witness against the true Son of God in lowering him to the same level as the sick, twisted heathen sun gods, which his people continuously battled with throughout the entire scriptures. I mean, any kid with the ability to read can quickly pick up an encyclopedia or a world religion textbook and quickly learn that the focal point of the entire Christian year has been stolen directly from ancient paganism. I mean, millions of young people who learn these historical facts, that they quickly assimilate Jesus with all the other sun gods, thanks in part to the unwitting insistence of the various denominations that Jesus is the reason for the season. And children of this generation aren't settling with fairy tales anymore. They're discarding them. Due to our repeated stubbornness in our adulteration with this Babylonian paganism over the centuries, Jesus is now perceived by a majority of Christians to be a fairy tale. I mean, if you study the polls asking Christians, even pastors, what they really believe, you'll see what I'm talking about. Christianity has become a cultural feather in the hat, like a dash of color or a family heirloom. God to most Christians is no longer a reality, as proven by our disobedience to God's most fundamental requirement that we do not commit adultery against him with other gods. The bride of Christ needs to be faithful to her husband. Many people ask, why would we tie the birth of our Messiah to the birth of the ancient Babylonian anti-Messiah and then unwittingly follow in the shadows of his ancient child sacrifice rituals in the entire catastrophe? So we need to ask ourselves, what would Jesus do? Well, we should no longer leave it up to our wild imagination to decide for ourselves what Jesus would do. We need to consider the scriptures and see, what did Jesus do?
Here we go.
We don't want to rationalize.
I'm not going to play this whole thing for you. I'm sorry, guys. I know that some of this may be kind of boring, but listen here. Listen to this part.
And conjure up excuses anymore. We want to walk in truth. So let's ask ourselves the question, what did Jesus do? Did Jesus ever celebrate Christmas himself? No, he was a Jew. He kept the feast instructed by his father. If you read through the Gospels, you'll see how Jesus actually expounded on the feast. Many of his greatest sermons were done at his father's feasts. The only thing Jesus...
Oh, you mean the feast that all the Christians are way too smart and too much of special boys to ever adhere to now or even care about, and say it doesn't matter anymore because it's all been done away with, even though Yeshua said he fulfilled the law and it's all for the good of you, so you'll understand the nature of the sky and the signs and wonders in it, how it's all connected to you and your spiritual journey, and how it was all made for you and engineered around Yeshua himself. But instead, you are too busy celebrating pagan holidays about, literally demigods that came down and deceived humans and have nothing to do with Yeshua and actually hate him. But we should just keep practicing our convenience. Be the special boy. Do whatever's easy. Just make sure it's just fun to practice Christmas. So who cares about having to relearn all of these feasts that Yeshua actually followed and Yeshua actually constantly told us about and gave us guidelines for, and the scriptures told us to do, and Yeshua himself did, right? God forbid that. No, we'll make up a brand new holiday that's actually attributed to Satan himself. We'll then just use a different name for Yeshua. We'll call him Jesus, and then we'll make him fit within our confinements of our depravity and our temporal materialistic nonsense. I'm sure Yeshua is probably just up there super okay with that though, huh?
Celebrated in December was Hanukkah. When choosing how to live as Christians, we should follow his example. Jesus celebrated, taught, and lived his Father's feasts. So let's ask ourselves another one. Would Jesus ever celebrate Nimrod's birthday of December 25th? by symbolically re-erecting the symbol of Nimrod's cut-off penis in the form of a fir tree?
Oh,
Obviously not. But
wait, let's listen to that part again.
did Jesus ever celebrate Nimrod's birthday of December 25th by symbolically re-erecting the symbol of Nimrod's cut-off penis in the form of a fir tree? Obviously not. But
see, this is the thing, right? Like when you start looking into the Christmas thing, you're going to get a whole bunch of layers of stuff, and people are just going to stop looking like, oh, look, 400 years ago they did this, 500 years ago they did this. Like, okay, 800 years ago they started this tradition with mushrooms. Okay, 400 years ago they did this. 1,000 years ago, this is way older than that. The Christmas tree. Okay, so people will say, all right, there's numerous things that go into this, right? So you have the Christmas tree, evergreen, because they were supposedly worshiping the god of agriculture. This is when it was winter, so they would come in and celebrate that it's about to get warm again, life's about to come back. They would take the evergreen in because it's forever green, right? Symbolizing the bringing back of agriculture, worshiping the agriculture god. That's like this surface level. The truth is, it resembles a phallic symbol of Nimrod. That's what it actually does. So you get layers and layers of grabble as you get closer and closer to 2020, and that's what people need to realize, right? It's not that you're wrong if you're saying some of this stuff. It's just like that was way after the fact. This is what they've started adding on to and making up and changing it and integrating into different traditions and different beliefs. They all tie back to the same thing across the board, the idea of agriculture, the season ending, coming back, revering their God. It isn't the one true God. But the Christmas tree itself is symbolic of the penis of Nimrod. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that, though, huh? Like, there's no reason we should just pump the brakes and maybe just – it's like it's a spell, guys. It's a spell. People can't let go of Christmas. They can't. They're like, oh, my gosh, but I have to keep getting together and giving presents. I like my Christmas trees. I like my lights and Christmas trees. It makes me feel happy. There's something to it that brings you in. And I understand, like, during Christmas, normally, not when the whole world shut down but scared of air, you're like, everyone seems to be in a good mood. You know, it's like there's this vibe in the air. You can actually feel it. There's an occultic ritual going on, and it's tied you in with spells and wizardry to where it's hard for people to even contemplate letting go of Christmas. They think about it all year, every year, looking forward to it, start celebrating it in the beginning of November, start decorating everywhere, and they just simply cannot entertain the fact that they may have to let go of it. So they're going to do anything that they can to convince themselves there's nothing wrong with it. This is called cognitive dissonance. The Globers do the same thing. Globe Earthers do the same thing. I can't accept the uncomfortability that comes with the fact the Earth isn't a magic spinning cartoon ball brought to me by Jesuit priests that defy physics, where water bends around a ball and gas bends around a ball in a vacuum. So what I'll do is I'll ignore all the evidence. I'll convince myself it's still the truth. That way I'll be more comfortable. It's a very, very weak thing to do. It's the way the enemy gets you. If you're like that with most people are like that with the Bible as a whole, with the scriptures as a whole, right? They found some things that they think are discrepancies. They don't want to have to look into it. They like the idea that they're a God and that this is just a religion used to control people, and I don't want to look at it. I like it. I have my own journey. I come up with it myself. I get to identify everything myself, all the way down to morality. I get to become a God myself. I am a God. So they don't look at it because it's more comfortable that way. It's much more uncomfortable. That's like, oh, there's God's law and I need to like get right and pay attention and repent and stop living for just myself. No, that can't be the truth because I don't like that. It's such a stupid way to look at things. We just need to get down to the truth, right? Like we're flat earthers here for the most part, right? That's what we did with the earth. We just got down to the truth. That's what you got to do with this, what you got to do with everything. All right, there's my sermon.
The reality is most Christians today do. A lot of people have the reply, but that's not what Christmas means to me. It doesn't matter where these things come from as long as we do it for the Lord. But unfortunately, that excuse has been tried before. Remember the golden calf below Mount Sinai? Exodus chapter 32. Aaron gathered up all the gold and the earrings and the rings and all the jewelry, and he fashioned together this golden calf. And then he made the specific proclamation and said,
"What's in the name?
Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord." How did God respond to this pagan holiday done in his name? He was furious. He wanted to wipe out the entire camp.
Seems like people need to listen to this part. Maybe. Just maybe people need to listen to this part. Now you think? Hey, everybody, let's listen to this part. So I'm on one tonight.
The golden calf below Mount Sinai, Exodus chapter 32. Aaron gathered up all the gold and the earrings and the rings and all the jewelry, and he fashioned together this golden calf. And then he made the specific proclamation and said, "Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord." How did God respond to this pagan holiday done in his name? He was furious. He wanted to wipe out the entire camp. But God ended up having mercy on the camp. And
someone says, wait, didn't they steal the symbol? Yeah, of course. They stole the symbol from, this is an Aryan symbol. It's actually on planes in the United States in like the 1920s, right? It was on Coke can openers. It was on all kinds of candy. This was just a normal thing. Everyone knew it represented the sky. This is the dipper going around the center point. It resembles like ideas of peace and blah, blah, blah. Really, it's about the sky. That's where it originates from. Everything's about the sky. The calendar is the key to interpreting the sky. The sky is the ultimate timeline that tells you everything that's going on. That's the whole trick. They know how to read the sky. They've made it to where you can't read the sky. They put up this whole entire Nazi propaganda ordeal so that you would think this is somehow attributed to ethnic supremacy of Aryans, when in fact Aryans is just people trying to figure out the truth of what was removed from them. They knew that people would start to look into it. And so before they bring about their great deception, which drastically involves you not knowing what's going on in the sky, because God doesn't leave you hanging. And in the end, he gives you all the signs so you can keep up with the timeline and know what's going on. So what they've done is they've made sure to remove this from the consciousness of people about 100 years out before they pull out their big plans. And so, yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with this. This is an acknowledgement of the sky, but it was accompanied with false teachings about the sky that came from the Watchers, tracking back to the antediluvian era of Atlantis, which is where you get the Aryans. The Aryans always attributed this sign to themselves, along with the hexagram, better translated the sexagram. All right.
Remember the golden calf below Mount Sinai? Exodus chapter 32. Aaron gathered up all the gold and the earrings and the rings and all the jewelry, and he fashioned together this golden calf, and then he made the specific proclamation and said, "Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord." How did God respond to this pagan holiday done in his name? He was furious. He wanted to wipe out the entire camp. But God ended up having mercy on the camp. And it only ended up costing the lives of 3,000 men. And don't forget that this generation didn't get to enter into the promised land. You know, Jesus warned us that we err and that we do not know the scriptures. Let's consider another scriptural example of this. Remember when King Saul lost the kingdom for attempting to offer up to the Lord only the very best of what he had recovered after conquering the Amalekites, after being clearly instructed to destroy every last vestige of paganism from the land. God doesn't appreciate these kinds of offerings. It has been written over and over and over and over again. How many times will it take for us to remember it? Some people, when you talk about these things, they'll have another excuse that you'll hear is, "But I have little children." Okay, now we have to sit and think this one through. So we would knowingly teach our children to celebrate the birthday of the Babylonian sun god by observing Nimrod's phallic evergreen re-erection ceremonies, and then put them through the watered-down shadow pictures of ancient child sacrifices, all in the name of our Lord. And that's not it. I mean, then we're going to completely ignore all the feasts that God put into place, all the holidays that teach us about his love, because we don't want to look Jewish.
Well, why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would they lie? I used to hate Santa, bro. I never wanted to go get on his lap. I used to hate him. I don't know about you guys. I never liked him.
Then we're going to completely ignore all the feasts that God put into place, all the holidays that teach us about his love, because we don't want to look Jewish. Others even say, well, I don't want to cause a ruckus with my parents, Well, let's listen to what Jesus says. Anyone who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. That's
a tough one for people to take in, huh? Yeah, what this means is your little grasp at straws explanation to excuse your, let's just call it the way it is, your inability to admit you were wrong because of pride and ego, and then you putting that off onto your children that are being, innocently deceived in all this by you is probably not going to look too good in the eyes of God. You know, if you're going to mislead a child, it's better you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be thrown into the depths of the sea. You're misleading children into freaking practicing a Nimrod festival.
I mean, are we going to follow the world or are we going to follow God?
You want advice on how to tell your child? I would say you sit down and just have a real conversation with them and you tell them some of the information you've come across and like, look, this is not going to be really comfortable. There's going to be people in your school around your age that still practice it. And, you know, you don't have to go around like forcing what you think on everyone else, but it's just not the right thing to do because it has nothing to do with Jesus. It's nothing to do with Yeshua. He wasn't really born then. You just, in my opinion, just bluntly honest. You give them the full context. You let them know what's going on, where it came from without getting too dark. You say you don't pray to anyone but God through Yeshua. No one else can see you while you're sleeping. No, that's such a scary thing to tell your kids. They can see you while you're sleeping. Like no, you don't have to pray. You know, your parents, your mom loves you and gives you some gifts as long as you help around the house and you're good and you don't talk back or whatever. But it has nothing to do with some mystical character that sees you while you're sleeping and creates a list and comes out of the fire. And so just tell them it's just not true. And, you know, what we're going to do here is we're going to put Yeshua first, reverence of him first. And, you know, that's just be honest with them. It's just like when people ask me about the earth. I'm like, you shouldn't force your kid to be a flat earther, but you should be honest with them. Kids aren't stupid. They just look up to their parents. And so when their parents say something, they're like, this must be true. Their parents are superheroes to them till they're like 12 or 13. So that would be my take. Just sit them down, have a real conversation with them, explain that many people falsely say this is about celebrating Jesus' birthday, but in fact, it is not at all. Jesus wasn't born then. And maybe even to tell them that's not his name. Yeah.
Scriptural metaphor for this is the broad and the narrow path. I mean, are we going to follow the majority of the world and just go down the broad path, the easy path? Don't make a ruckus. Just follow along what everyone else does. We're going to have lots of company, but the path leads to destruction.
Yeah, this is another thing, dude. I see in the chat. Good point. It's like, I'll come back. This is a pretty serious part of all this. You know, like they're going to find out Santa's not real anyway. And what they're going to find out is effectively my parents have been lying to me for 10 years, 12 years. I had to hear about it from someone at school. They're going to find out you're lying to them, right? So, like, why not get out in front of that and just be honest, dude? You know, like, honesty is such an overlooked thing and so simple, and it establishes logos. Just be honest. They're going to find out that he's not real anyway. So that's my take. I don't want to get too preachy, so we'll just move on.
Or are we going to turn aside and follow the shepherd up the narrow path? Not very many people coming with you, but you're following the shepherd. In that path.
Yeah, tell her that. Tell her that. You know, like that's the truth. Kids can take more than we think they can. Of course, kids means baby goat, but children can take more truth than we think. We don't need to protect them with lies. That's not protecting them. It's setting them up for failure. That's why Yeshua feels so strongly about it and says that if you mislead a child, you should have a millstone tied around your neck and you'd be thrown into the depths of the sea, because he knows the inherent order of everything: God, man, woman, child. When the man and woman are lying to the child who look up to them innocently, that infuriates God. I'm not putting words in his mouth. He's told you that if you mislead a child, it's better you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be thrown to the depths of the sea. I don't want to fall under that hammer.
Everlasting life. So now that we know these things, we have to make the choice of who we love more: God and his word, or his enemy, Babylon the Great. The one in whom we obey is the one in whom we really love. You know, the hard part about delivering this particular message is that after you deliver these facts and people do the research and they find out their history and they ask their pastors if these things are really so, and they come to the same conclusions, they know the reality, but they just can't make it past that blinking pine tree they love so much. And then they turn their back on God. Unfortunately, this is a message that today has to be delivered. There's just too many young people falling away from the faith because they think that their Messiah is a sun god. When he is not a sun god, he is completely and beautifully unique from all the Babylonian anti-messiahs. We don't want to bear false witness against our God anymore. We don't want to commit adultery against our Father anymore. And I am confident that if people just find out who the Messiah really was, rather than cleaving to the lies handed down to us by our forefathers, they're going to find out that that God is much more beautiful.
Preach, brother.
Messiah warned us that following him is not going to make us popular. A lot of people.
Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I know this is like basically a sermon. I think people need to hear it. So
Down to us by our forefathers,
we're finishing it.
they're going to find out that that God is much more beautiful. Messiah warned us that following him is not going to make us popular. A lot of people have the misconception that if you really love Jesus and you follow him, that life is just going to be a wonderful experience. But he actually warned us to the contrary. But he gives some encouragement as well. He said, stand up for me against world opinion, and I will stand up for you before my Father in heaven.
Let's finish it up. I'll read it for people. Do not confuse the Lord's beautiful history with that of ancient pagan sun worship. His life is far too meaningful to be diluted with that kind of filthiness.
If someone claims, I know him well, but doesn't keep his commandments, he's obviously a liar. His life doesn't match his words. But the one who keeps God's word is the person in whom we see God's mature love. This is the only way to be sure we are in God. Anyone who claims to be intimate with God ought to live the same kind of life that Jesus lived.
Alright. Yeah, I got another video for you guys. This one's really short. Y'all are going to be okay. I think videos are a good way to break things down. Because I just start like, you know. Let me go over here to history.
Name?
This is just a minute long. Check this out.
What's your name?
Just ask the 4-year-old Alonzi twins.
Ray.
Noah, for instance, has some down pat.
How do you spell your name?
N-O-A-H.
Good job.
But the wordsmith's letter to Santa went, well, a little south this year. Way south. Because aside from saying he'd been nice and asking for a new toy, Noah got a few letters mixed up and addressed his note to the naughtiest fellow of all. No, not the Grinch, but the guy with the horns.
Which is nobody. Or maybe even not these times. What is that? What is that?
Did it all by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What does this say?
Santa.
Santa, huh?
Jennifer's response says it all.
Well, I'm a therapist, so my first thought was we got to get this kid into therapy.
Oh, and Santa, if you're watching, Noah wasn't being devilish. He really did mean to send it to you.
What do you want Santa to get you?
A helicopter and a train.
A helicopter and a train.
Kevin Tibbles, NBC News.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Shut up, you little crabbler. That child just straight up doesn't know why, doesn't know why. He's so woke, but he's super base and he's crushing, and he just knew that Santa was actually Satan. What a legend in the making. I don't know with those completely not based parents. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was pretty wild, right? Like, I don't know. Is that a coincidence? Is that an accident? I guess it's possible, but you know, kids maybe have a deeper connection, understanding of some of the energies and frequencies within the metaphysical realm than we do. I actually strongly lean that way. I think that we kind of go through a process where we become more and more detached from that. And that's why they just, as soon as children enter the world, they just torture them basically, and then just like create this chaotic, traumatic experience, flooding them down with synthetic stuff to detach them from their true connection to something much bigger than most of us. Anyway, some other interesting things. What's the correlation to the North Pole? Again, we talked about how actually Santa, if you track it back to more modern practices, right, you get Krampus and stuff, and so it resembles the duality, as does Baphomet. That's what the Santa figure is referencing. It's like Baphomet. Baphomet, of course, the male and female duality, right? Like women breast and then the horns and above, as above, so below, blah, blah, blah. So it encompasses the entire duality of Luciferianism. Basically, that's what the satanic figure represents. And so anyway, now let's tie this into the North Pole. Well, what's at the North? We don't know, right? We're not allowed to go within 500 miles of each direction. We don't know exactly where the North is because the Northern Lights, it seems like what they say the North is off. We can't even really tell for sure. We're not allowed to go independently verify it. Tons of stories of stuff like a mountain that goes higher than the eyes can see. Mount Meru, giant magnetic mountain, a whirlpool, 4 rivers stemming from it, coming from the waters of the deep. All kinds of stories of these different bodies or these different land masses with rivers going through it in the center with the center mountain. Who really knows what's there? I don't really know what's there. Who knows who can go there? I don't know. I think it's possible humans in their physical body, ever since we fell, fell from grace, if you will. We can't go in there anymore, but there may be some ability for something metaphysical, not limited to a physical body, to go in there. And so what's there right now? I don't know. Does it have some creepy tie to this Baphomet character? Maybe. We're not even allowed to go there. But one interesting thing is when you track back, so there's numerous different names attributed to the mythos, if you will, of Santa, but if you track some of them back, you'll get back to the etymology of the word being portal in the center. Etymologies of the characters of Santa, you track them all the way back, you'll get to portal in the center. So pretty interesting at the least. The character's name that the story comes from originally in different geographical representations. Some of them actually used a name where the etymology was portal in the center. And they tell you Satan, well, Santa rearranged, comes from the center. There's a portal in the center. Oh, and he can go all around the world. He can be everywhere. It's basically the Luciferian doctrine of him having godlike characteristics. He can see you when you're asleep. He's everywhere. He goes around the whole world in one night, dude. And it's just real creepy. All of it's very meticulously crafted and inverted, and it's not crafted by some little creepy grabbler with hand cramps in the corner being a little squirt boy, right? It's crafted by Lucifer himself, Satan himself. It goes way, 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 way back. So there you go. And so we can break down really what it is Saturnalia. That's what it is. It's the more recent celebrations that stem back to Nimrod is Saturnalia, and Saturn, Satan. Again, Saturn just had a conjunction in the sky, and now we're coming up on the end of the little Saturnalia festival. And it's where they run around naked, dudes banging dudes, just tons of sodomy everywhere, which is absolutely disgusting if somehow you didn't know that. And then they pick one innocent person that's lower on the totem pole. They're like, oh, you're a king. Tell us what you want to do. Then they kill him. Everything inverts. It's just chaos. It's crazy. They would rumpus. It'd be like, they'd always say, Io Saturnalia. That's what they'd all scream at each other, and they'd just be partying all nights or all hours of the night. Normally, it was really dark in those civilizations, but during this week, they would put They would put like torches along the street so it was real lit up. People felt more comfortable. It was less dangerous at nighttime. You could actually see and traverse. So everyone would hang out all night getting drunk. What the custom was you would go knock on anybody's door, any door that you knocked on, they had to let you in. And they actually had to give you a small time present. Also, you had to give everybody presents. It was like a real dogmatic thing, right? It was everyone that you knew, you had to give them a present. They had to give you a present. People would keep up with it. You didn't give them a present. It was like a really big deal. It was like enforced dogmatically. It was real serious. It's a freaking satanic ritual, dude. That's what it is. You're supposed to be like, oh man, I need to go, even though I'm broke, I need to go help this person out because they don't have a place to stay. So I'm going to give them something that they need. That's when you're supposed to gift things. You're not supposed to be like, oh, I know my little sister has 47 toboggans, but let me go buy her another toboggan. Right? And that's the point, right? This rolls over into greed because the love of the money is root of all evil. But anyway, so you'd go around, you'd beat on the doors. They'd have to let you in. They had different carols and sayings and stuff for people that wouldn't let them in. That's where the carols come from. They would sing like these different chants about having to let them in. One of the things they would say is like something about like, if you don't open the door, we're going to kick it in. Or if you don't open the door, we'll knock it to the floor. Something like that. Just a bunch of creepy stuff, right? It wasn't a bunch of people that were based, hated it, which not many people were based at all. But the point is, when you look into the actual set, it was just chaos. And it's all about revering the sun god, the solstice, Nimrod, the one that came and took over the whole world. And that's what the Christmas tree is about. So I don't really care if you think that you know more about it or that it doesn't matter or that your consciousness and your power has superseded the true occultic esoteric meaning. Whatever. You're partaking in an occultic ritual and everyone's been duped into doing it. And there's very, very dark underlining meanings to it. And most people just don't know about them. You should ask yourself, if this is all just a fairy tale, why was it so important to convince the whole world to keep practicing this freaking festival? There's something very real and very powerful when a collective group of people get together and they're on the same page. They're saying the same things. They're singing things together. Everywhere I go, I hear this freaking Christmas music, and I just want to throw stuff against the wall. I can't even go to the grocery store. It's like all around me. It's all around me. And once you can see it, there you go. So do I think there's something wrong with like being nice to each other during this time of the year? No. If you want to go give your family a present, I'm not your keeper. All I'm saying is, maybe we should just be kind to people year round. Maybe we should help out people in need year round. Maybe we shouldn't be so obsessed for an entire year waiting for the next time where we just get a bunch of presents. Like that's all kids care about. It's like, I get presents on this day. That's all they care about. Right? And people can say, oh, this is about Jesus being born. Jesus wasn't his name and he wasn't born then. It's about when Nimrod was born. So it doesn't really matter what you say. And we just read in the scriptures, if you do adhere to the scriptures, you really can't even make an argument here because whenever someone tried to practice a pagan practice and then still adhered or still say that it was in reverence to the one true God, it infuriated them and he almost destroyed the entire city. So what do you think is going on now when hundreds of millions of innocent babies are being murdered and the blood of innocent babies is all over the hands of America while they drown in depravity, taking in marriage, being married and taking in marriage till the very end? No one cares, nothing. Oh, we're just all celebrating what? Right? So you think that God's just going to kick back and you don't think something's going to happen to this place. You people are delusional. All right, I'm done. Thanks for all the lemons. Thanks for all the legends in Dlive. I see some unplugs here. Saturn Galia. That's pretty fun. Saturn definitely a sodomite. Thanks for the Don Philosopher. Where's their poll? Yeah, I just use that term loosely for intensive purposes. I'll cover a couple things. So a bunch of people, y'all can tell me what y'all think. Give me some feedback in the chat. A bunch of people were like, dude, I'm getting hit with so many ads on your videos. I don't know. I didn't really know. I don't know how many are on there, whatever. I have premium. I just don't watch ads. I don't use cable or anything. I just pay $12 a month for premium. I guess I can turn the ads off. I don't make a ton of money on there, but I don't make a ton of money on any of this, So like, from the ad revenue over the last 28 days, it's been less than like 28 days or whatever. I've made like $250 on ads. So I guess I don't know. Everyone's complaining about it. I guess I should just invest hours and hours and hours into bringing people's streams, and because they can't wait 5 seconds to skip something, I should just throw away the $250. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I guess I can turn off the ads. It's no big deal, but I just don't. Just get premium, because if you have YouTube Premium, every time you watch a video that's monetized, that person gets a kickback of your YouTube Premium. But I don't know. We can talk about it. It's whatever. I just never even thought about it. First, I thought you had to be monetized to take super chats anyway. So I just always monetize it. Then someone told me you don't. Can I pick the ads? No, I don't think I can pick the ads or anything like that. But, it's whatever. If you run AdBlock, you won't get them. Cool. That doesn't bother me. Cool. Get YouTube Premium. I agree. Nope. Up to us to deal with, however. Everyone's saying keep the ads. Keep the ads, bro. Yeah, I'm just going to keep them. Y'all can kick rocks. Premium allows you to lock your phone and listen. Yeah, exactly. You can just close it. Dude, Premium, I'm not going to lie. Like, I know it's just the grabblers, but it's like you're not going to be able to do anything if you don't ever pay any money that ends up getting back to the grabblers. You're not going to be able to eat food. You're not going to be able to wear clothes. You're not going to be able to get on any social media. You think Dlive isn't somehow tied to the grabblers? You're not going to be able to do anything without that. So if you don't have cable and stuff, and I would suggest you don't, $13 or whatever. I hate sales pitching for freaking the grabblers, though, YouTube. So do what you want to do, man. Keep the ads 100%. Use Brave browser, no ads. All right, cool. I'm going to keep it, man. It looks like Nathan's channel was taken down during your stream. What? Maybe I can get him to come on. Oh, my gosh. I definitely don't see it. Keep your ads. You deserve it. Thank you. I mean, $200, guys, is like $50 a week. I mean, that's not a ton of money. I have a lot of bills, and so I've been getting so many complaints about it the last few days. It's wild. I don't know. I guess maybe there's a bunch of ads that are popping up now or something, but I just wanted to bring it up. Anyway, yeah, we're working on a whole bunch of updates to visualizations and stuff like that. So content should get way better here over the near future. Let me just make sure I don't have anything. Cash out. That is a negative. Sure, I got nothing on PayPal. Greg Richardson. Oh, you sent me this December 22nd. 12 o'clock. We met at Flat Tower Fest. Pleased to locate you. Never cease. Thank you for the $7 on PayPal, bro. You're the man. I will do. I will continue to make content. We got a new Patreon, Joel Ezra Christensen. Thank you very much for the tier 3 Patreon. You're the man. I'll throw you on the list so you'll be on the next one with the little video. Let me see if I can get Nathan on here. See what's going on. I mean, I'm sure y'all don't mind if I just tell Nathan to jump on here. I'm just going to call him. Everyone should have 5 backup channels. Yeah, maybe I should make a backup channel. I can't even get people to come over to freaking Dlive. I'll see if I can get a link for you. If you're typing WitsitGetsIt on BitChute, it should work. Yes, I am. I'm on BitChute. Thank you for the diamond, Nico Bear. Make one, please. What, a backup? Yeah, I will. If I was going to show me love and go freaking sub to it, I need everyone to help me out with Dlive. Really, I'm more concerned with that. We're at 780, so we've actually gone up some. 780. We just got to get to 1,000, so we need 220, really 219 more. Put my Dlive link. What's up, Karen B? How you doing? This is my... Mom, Austin wants me to go to Dlive. Oh, in the description. I think I do have my Dlive in the description. I don't know if it's a link though. I can't believe I just deleted my boy's whole channel, man. It's really not. Edit video. Oh my gosh. All right, there we go. That's I got. To the top of the description now. He just posted that debate, bro, and then it went down. Yeah, it's crazy. Gravy gang. It's because of your video. What? Oh, we gotta unmute somebody on Dlive. What's up, Karen B on Dlive? Wait, who did you mute? God, I am not good at this, guys. I'm sorry if this is kind of boring. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't even see him anymore. I don't know how to find him. So I don't know how to find him. Anyone want to tell me how? Someone accidentally got muted. I don't know how to find him on here, so I don't even know how I could do anything about it. Where's he at? Did that like remove all of his chats? Alberta Bear, is that it? No. Okay, well, I don't know what to do about it, so. How am I supposed to, what do you mean bring him back? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what to do. If no one's going to tell me what to do, I'm just going to stop acting like it's even a thing. So anyway, with you and Nathan now, it's gone. He did a reaction to it. Yeah, I heard. I don't know if that's why I got taken down, though. You wouldn't think so. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with it. It just keeps taking me to his channel, and I don't know what to do. And I guess no one else knows how to unbox someone on Dlive. I don't know. But I'm just going to get frustrated if I just keep on just sitting here and quiet trying to figure it out. So I'm sorry. I'm just not going to keep. Thoughts on Russia nuking America? I believe America's Babylon. Nuclear bombs aren't even real, so that would be probably difficult. They're building up they're starting a, Russia's not doing anything to America. They're starting the war against China. That's something I should show you guys. Check this out. Argentina, I'm not going to leave you hanging, bro. We're going to figure it out. Red for Bear is tripping over here, but I'm sure it was an accident. Check this out. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. I don't even know where it's at. I took a picture of one of his tweets, though. I'll just read it. All right, Donald Trump tweet. Distribution of both vaccines is going very smoothly. Amazing how many people are being vaccinated. Record numbers. Our country, and indeed the world, will soon see the great miracle of what the Trump administration has accomplished. They said it couldn't be done. So I'd say he's pushing the mark. Like, imagine being a Q-tard right now and saying that he's just like, no, I promise he doesn't like vaccines. Like, even if he comes out and says they're bad, he isn't forgiven. You can't be forgiven for what you've already done. Like, God, the Q-tards are just so stupid. It gives me a headache. And I love you guys. I'm sorry, but he's freaking pushing poisonous chemicals on everyone. That's clearly the mark of the beast. I mean, let's be real. You gotta stop. You gotta stop with the Trump thing. All right, I can't get a hold of Nathan, so I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's too cool to answer the phone nowadays. Oh, I can unban him with the type out. Unban at username. Okay. And I don't think that did anything, bro. Oh, Karen got a sub. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for gifting the sub. Argentina. I can't say I never did anything for you, man. I'm like illiterate on this. I don't know what to do with any of this, to be honest. It's getting kind of annoying. Settings. Oh. This is so annoying, dude. I don't see any dots. Oh, there they are. Muted users. Okay, we finally found it out. Argentina, you're unmuted. And we got a bunch of mutes in here, a bunch of gammas, I guess, huh? Y'all are all staying in there. All right, we finally got you back, bro. Sorry about the delay, ladies and gentlemen. No big deal. Who cares? Well, yeah, there you go. I see a lot of people talking about what happened earlier on Nathan Oakley's. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't care. I think it's stupid. I would be down to talk to Nathan, see what's up with what happened to his channel, but I guess he's maybe busy or trying to figure it out or something, but it'll all be all right. They're not going to stop us from getting the truth out there. Yeah, I mean, you can say this is. I will now that I just see it. This is what I keep hearing people say. Nathan, he overreacted, but he was right in the conversation. Nathan wasn't right in the conversation. He wouldn't let me make my argument. So what I want to know is, how can he be right if I don't make my argument? That's what I want to know. Oh, y'all know Nathan was right, but I didn't get to make my argument. But he was right because he screamed a ton and called me names and muted me so that the people on YouTube couldn't hear me talking. They could just hear him talking like I wasn't talking and never listening to my actual argument while he strawmans me. This is why I didn't want to talk about it, because I'm just going to get pissed. And I'd rather be the bigger person. I was the bigger person in that conversation. I just left. I don't care. If someone can listen to that and think that Nathan was right, that's laughably dumb, because I don't argue that gas doesn't go in any and all directions. That's part of my argument. The elastic collision of velocity and energy of gas is way stronger than electrostatics, but electrostatics is still in the gas, and it still always finds its equilibrium relative to positive and negative charge. So if you can't remove or exclude electrostatics, then any type of equilibrium stats, any type of movement is electrostatic. The Earth is negatively charged. We have a natural up and down on Earth. But hey, if I scream, oh, gas goes in all directions, 500 times and then just read from my script saying the same thing over and over, skating past everything that I just said, that must mean that he's right. He must be right now because he can't think outside of his script, wants to call me every name under the book. This is why I don't want to talk about it, because I can't tell but be bluntly honest, and what's going to end up happening, I'm going to have to eviscerate him. So I've just let it be. Whoever wants to take whatever they want to. I tried to be cool. I was like, whatever. If you're going to be in here talking about how he's right in the context, then I'm going to get upset. So just stop talking about it, because he isn't right in the context. He's making the argument that I've made for 5 years. They act like they're talking to a glober, and gas goes in every direction somehow disproves electrostatics. It's like a 5th grade argument. It's literally like not even 5th grade remedial. So what am I supposed to do with that? If you don't let me say something, then I don't care. I don't care. You're not right just because you don't let someone else talk. You're not right just because you mute them and strawman them. That's stupid. Gas goes in any and all directions. Omnidirectional dispersal, instantaneous action. Instantaneously, it disperses in any and all directions. This is called entropy. It's a natural law. Oh, so you're going to tell me what my argument has been for 5 years? Think about how crazy that is, bro. So when people are like, oh, I don't think like how Nathan was talking, but he was right in the conversation, in the debate, he literally wasn't. He strawmanned me the whole time and then muted me. This is why I don't engage with other people half the time, because I don't got time for all that nonsense. I don't really care. I got no beef towards Nathan. I don't care. Still respect to him, dude. Yeah, I like what he does when it comes to, like, he wakes up certain people flat earth. Everyone's got their own taste. I don't care. I'm not taking the bait. I kind of already did. This is why I shouldn't even have responded, because now I've had to, like, give my 2 cents more so. But it's all good, bro. I tried to keep my cool, and I'm never going to ever partake in a conversation like that again on that show. So you want to talk? He's like, I lost a lot of respect for you. Oh, I lost a lot of respect for you when you just called me every name you could think of and then asked me how your nuts taste, like you would ever say that to me in person. So I don't really care. I don't really care about keyboard warriors screaming and muting me so their audience can't hear the full context of the conversation and being incapable of actually understanding what incoherent dielectric acceleration is and having no idea what it even means, no idea at all what the argument is, but somehow I'm actually stupid. I'm stupid because of your lack of comprehension. It's laughable, bro. And this is, I didn't want to add fuel to the fire. That's why I shouldn't even have done all this, but it's laughable because, again, I'm not claiming gas goes down, goes boom, boom. So come up with a more, competent statement of actual relevant response with some substance specificity. And you see, he couldn't even let me go 10 seconds without being uninterrupted because I can talk this fast and make my point. And everyone here knows it. That's why he had to mute me over and over. Because if you give me 15 seconds, I'm going to show that you're wrong. But you can't even give me 15 seconds. I couldn't even get 5 seconds. What kind of respect is that to someone who goes around waking everyone up to flat earth all the time too? Only it goes out into the real world too, not just behind his keyboard. Who does that? Who does that? I didn't jump on there to argue with him. I jumped on there because Nathan told me he was on there. I thought we were going to have a cool conversation. I was being real chill. All of a sudden, 0 to 100, call me every name in the book and never respond with substance specificity to incoherent dielectric acceleration and say electrostatics was freaking a non sequitur when the entire argument is that. So what? Some people, I'm going to be frank with you, some people in the flat earth community, they're just not at the level they can have this conversation. That isn't my problem. And if you think that you've touted yourself as some hero in this intellectual form of flat earth, so now you cannot think outside of your script because you have to keep the facade that you're some home run hitter, I don't really care. That sounds like you have a fragile ego. I don't care. It's stupid. I hate that I talked about it, but there you go. There's my take. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, though, just so everyone knows. I think it's stupid, okay? And it was a straw man, and I was muted by a fellow flat earther, treated like somehow he's got some juice over me in the real world, and that he can talk down to me like I'm some gamma, and I had to lose a lot of respect for him. It's no big deal, though. I didn't want to talk about it anyway. But the fact is, I didn't lose the conversation. I wasn't allowed to have it. And so if you don't understand the conversation, stop typing in my chat about how I was wrong because it's annoying. You don't know what you're talking. I was wrong, but you don't even know what my argument is. All the people that are in my comments and in my emails now, because there's like a cult of Nathan Oakley followers. They're like a cult, bro. They're an actual cult. They want to follow me and stalk me down and talk about how I was wrong and I was wrong. Comment on my videos about the mark and talk about density equilibrium. No one cares, bro. You're still arguing about relative density disequilibrium. Well, what is it? 2014, dude. We're going to move on and figure out what's going on. And if you don't, then whatever. Cool story, bro. Okay? That's why none of them can actually let me talk in the debates. That's why none of them can debate me. They won't debate me, and they can't let me talk when they do debate me. So you can say whatever you want about me being wrong. I can make your argument better than you can. I can make Nathan Oakley's argument better than he can while I'm sleeping drunk. So I don't really care what people think. Now that I've got all that off my chest, sorry I got caught up in it. But there you go. There's my response. I think it's very disrespectful and pathetic, and that was my take on it. And then you won't see me engaging with him again. Yeah, I think it's literally people can't think outside of their script, and it pisses me off that if you're that upset about it, you could have at least been like, let's not talk about it right now, or been cool or cordial respect. We talked about it off the air, whatever. I just came on there just to see what was going on. I didn't even know what was going on because Nathan Thompson texted me and said, I'm talking about you on Nathan Oakley's show, and I was just like, what? So I jumped on there, right? I didn't jump on there for any. I was just like, well, wait, what about electrostatics? And then all hell broke loose. It's like so ridiculous. Like the Earth's negatively charged and things seek equilibrium. And then when I get off, I just leave. Oh, run away. And then everyone that's supposedly my homies, by the way, but that are supposedly my homies, want to jump in and amp up Nathan Oakley. Not one person had the balls to call him out for his behavior. So that was pretty telling. All my homies. Like, oh, he said that lightning went down. Yeah, it does, bruh. It does. You say lightning goes up too? No, it doesn't. You don't know the phenomena of lightning then, but you're in a position to teach me about it. Like, what's up with that? What's up with people, bro? No, if lightning, a little part of the charge meets up and it still meets the thing coming down. So you don't know, people don't even fully understand lightning, and they admit this. But someone on Discord that doesn't even know what electrostatics is, all of a sudden, once I'm gone, can tell me how stupid I am for bringing up lightning. Like, it's so frustrating. It's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'll talk about it on my channel. I don't want to debate about it anymore. I don't want to discuss it anymore. I'm over it. I'm so over it because it's so reiterative and stupid. And I'm just objectively right. I hate to hurt your feelings. I'm objectively right because what my claim is that everything's inherently electrostatic. That's objective. And you want to skate past it. You want to act like it has nothing to do with anything. That makes you stupid. Makes you actually stupid. So come on, guys. Maybe we should stop with the drama, because now I get all worked up and I'm like real assertive and I don't care anymore, bro. I have bigger things to do than to say the same thing every day for 4 hours, talking shit to people, muting them, asking how my nuts taste over and over and over, debating remedial mental midgets like Rumpus, and then touting victory from it. Like, oh, wow, you defeated Rumpus in a debate. It's like, I don't even care anymore. I think it's ridiculous. I've done nothing but show love. I've come in there. I've mediated between that panel and Glowbusters panel. I've called both people out for things I disagree with. I've constantly tried to be cool with both people. I've bit my tongue. I've been real cool over and over and over. Now you're going to send your little cultic believers at me? Like, dude, y'all got to chill. I'm not saying pick me or Nathan. I'm not a 5-year-old. Nathan's cool. I still have respect for him for what he does. That's it. There's a take on that. Because I've been seeing it all in the chats the whole night. So there you go. I finally took the bait. There's my take on it. It wasn't a debate. It wasn't cordial conversation. It wasn't respectful. Nothing intellectual about it at all. He was screaming the 5th grade argument against the Globers about how gas goes in all directions and just screaming it. That's a very bad look for us. I hate that I even jumped on there because it's bad look for us as a whole. There you go. So back to the actual gravy. So check this, guys. This is pretty wild. So if you saw in the thumbnail, one of the pictures have these red Christmas trees, right? In the middle. Well, check this out. What is this, bro? This is the Christmas trees in the White House that Melania decorates. What is this? This is real life, guys. This is real. Y'all want to tell me what that is? Does anyone want to tell me what's going on there? Nothing at all weird about that, huh? Well, in case that doesn't do it for you, and you clearly notice there's some creepy, esoteric, elite, occultic, weirdo stuff, well, it's okay. We should definitely still practice Christmas and the traditions that they do for the pagan holidays. You know why? Because the Rockefellers do, and we know the Rockefellers love us. So here's the Rockefeller Christmas tree in New York. So that must mean it's okay to do it with some little creepy little statue down here. Oh, but the Rockefellers have a huge Christmas tree, so it must be legit. Yeah. You should start asking yourself, why are all these people that are like my adversaries comfortable saying some of these things? Maybe I shouldn't partake in these practices. Maybe I shouldn't say some of these things. The creepiest people in the world, the Jesuit order, love to call themselves the Society of Jesus. Wonder why. I wonder what's the meaning of that. Wonder where it ties back to. Wonder why I don't care to say it, or God, or Lord. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why they love Christmas. I wonder why they love Easter. You think that they actually love celebrating the resurrection of Yeshua? No, of course not. It has nothing to do with that. Y'all are being duped by Luciferians. And that's basically the whole gist of the whole entire show. News of XRP getting sued by the SEC. And it had already dropped 30%. Yeah, it's a good time to get, dude. If it's at 35 cents right now. Oh, 37 cents down 21%. Not financial advice. Perfect time to buy. Perfect time to buy XRP. Not financial advice. Just buy some while it's under 50 cents. Yeah. It's a Discord still wants you and loves you. Yeah, it's all good, dude. It's all good. I'm just saying that there are people that were supposed that if anything should have my back or not say anything that were like amping that behavior up, and it's just kind of disheartening to see that. You know, I have to be cool with. Honestly, I regret even having going on that rant. I have to be cool with. I just have to be the bigger person. I have to, if people don't understand it, I just have to be content with their ignorance. I have to be okay with the fact that they think I'm wrong, but yet they literally are incapable of understanding my argument, but they're going to run around and be real loud about how I'm wrong. I just have to be cool with that. I have to be cool with it. I have to seek humility and step back and be like, okay, the people that can understand it, they understand it. The people that don't, whatever, people that have an unwavering, never dying loyalty to a certain group of people. So no matter what happens, you're going to have to agree with it. Go for it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not a part of picking sides. If you can't understand incoherent dielectric acceleration and how it's objective, and you can't respond with substantive specificity in intellectual form, you're laughably incompetent, and I can just kick you out of the way here because no one cares. You haven't offered any viable response or postulation. It's laughably dumb. It's third grade level dumb. It's Glober dumb. So if you want to amp something like that up because this is your hero or this script is what you know to follow, go for it. That's your own personal decision. This is why I deleted Gamma Panda server. This is why I don't jump on Flat Earth debate. This is why, because you see how now there's some type of like I'm all worked up. I'm having to be all assertive because it's only douchebags that bring me down to this point. I'm not like this when I come chill with y'all. Sometimes I'm assertive because I want to wake people up about, hey, you might be worshiping the Antichrist, but God sat me down and was like, dude, let the dead bury the dead. I finally had a realization, like I'm messing up. I can't just make excuses for myself and my behavior because of how much of a POS someone else is, right? Like, okay, Gamma Pandas, they're muting me, cussing me out, calling me names. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds familiar. Anyway, muting me, cutting me off, cussing me out, calling me names, not letting me actually respond, straw manning me, then muting me to straw man me, right? Okay, I found out. I eventually lose my cool. I start calling names. I end up cussing. I end up getting mad. I don't need to be a part of that. Let the dead bury the dead. You plant seeds and you keep it pushing. Okay. We have the same little revolving door on that channel. Okay. I don't belong there. I don't have anything to do with that. I don't like the screaming, cussing. How does my nuts taste? Okay. That's the kind of thing that you get knocked out for where I'm from. I don't know where other people are from, but you say something like that to another dude in real life where I'm from, you get knocked out. So I took it to be incredibly disrespectful. I don't want anything to do with them because I tried to walk it back. I was like, dude, calm down. I'm not trying to have a bloodbath. It's all cool. I'll ignore all the name calling. And when you move on, you kept saying it. You kept saying it. You'll never talk to me like that in real life. Guaranteed. 1,000,000% no one will tell me to. How does their nuts taste in real life? So I don't want to be a part of the like toxicity and the negative vibes and the childish things, right? I feel like there's way more important things to do. I need to work on keeping my cool more. I'm not going to put myself in positions to get dragged down into stupid drama where for 20 minutes of my stream now I've had to address the incompetence of some people, the literal incompetence because they don't understand what incoherent dielectric acceleration is and how there's automatically an up and down on a plane Earth. And you want to skate past it and just say it's just their density whenever you don't want to address that everything's inherently electrostatic and that objectively affects directionality and can be demonstrated a million different ways. But you just want to say it's not there because gas goes everywhere. That's your argument. Gas goes everywhere. Oh, that's cool. That's what I say too. So what's your actual argument? Are you going to actually debate my argument now? Or are we just going to keep talking about how gas goes everywhere? Because that's part of my argument. I wonder why Austin's frustrated. I can't imagine why Austin would get frustrated here because there's people in my own chat on my own channel talking about he was right in the conversation. They don't understand it. Stop. Just restrain yourself from commenting on something if you don't understand it. That's why Sleeping Warrior was quiet when I was in there. He was supposed to debate me, then he didn't debate me, and they want to put it all on Bob. Well, I have an opinion too, and I think y'all are wrong. So let's just have a cordial conversation about it instead of years of animosity. No. We want the animosity. We want to talk to Bob. We want to fight Bob. No, we want to talk about Austin when he's not here. No, we want to, cut him off, mute him. It's just weird. It's weird. I went on there in an attempt to try to smooth things out like I've been doing for months, by the way, guys. In case you didn't know, behind the scenes, Austin's the one that's been going to both sides, smoothing everything out, putting water on the fire over and over. Oh, it's about to blow up. Austin's going to step in and try to mediate and arbitrate. Oh, Austin's going to try to make sure nothing happens, right? So that's all that my intention was, and then it backfired, and it's all good because I don't care. I don't care. You may think, oh, he cares a little bit. What I care about is the people that are still running around not understanding it. Like, do I need to do like 50 streams on just electrostatics? Is this complicated? Okay. Everything with matter is electrostatic. The earth, electrostatic. Everything that drops to the earth is electrostatic. Oh, but gas doesn't drop to the earth. You refine, begging the question. No, my point is that the gas is inherently electrostatic, but it's so incredibly weak, which is provable with demonstrations and replicatable over and over and over and over in 1,000 different ways. It's objective. Your opinions don't matter. The fact you want to handwave dismiss electrostatics doesn't matter. This is an objective part of reality. It's objective. Look at what the word objective means, then come back without screaming from your script. It's objective that everything's electrostatic. You want to handwave dismiss it because you can't respond to it and you know you're wrong. So what you do is loop your script where you shut the conversation down with a straw man, an inadvertent, implicit straw man that somehow I say gas goes down. So gas goes in any all directions because the elastic collision rate, the elastic velocity, the elastic energy is way stronger than electrostatics, which is damn near negligible and incredibly weak. So, and I don't want to keep talking about it. So there you go. I addressed it pretty thoroughly. Deep breath, reset. I'm good. I'm done now. Sorry about all that, guys. I'm sure a lot of y'all didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to have to say it. But it was going to happen anyway. So super, super annoying. All right, let's just recap the stream. So yeah, Christmas, Christ Mass, right? And this is where, you have the creepy little grabblers get on stage and they're like, oh, we're going to literally turn this into Yeshua's flesh, like sacrament. So Christ Mass, who's Christ? That's a title. That is not a name. That's why they don't care to say Jesus Christ, attributed to Zeus, Christ, Christos, right? Anointed. Doesn't have anything to do with a certain name. That's just like a title. Okay, so there you go. That's why it's called that. Why is it on December 25th? Again, because Saturnalia and all of the practices about celebrating Nimrod before that and Saturn in many different ways. It was expressed with the polytheism that was propagated onto humans by the Watchers. Started on like the 17th and they would end, and then the 25th was the culmination event where you would celebrate. That's why everyone celebrates on the 25th. Actually, even Christmas Eve comes from a creepy little occultic, esoteric, polytheistic religion as well, like Christmas Eve. Every single aspect of it. The Christmas tree is resembles Nimrod's phallus symbol, like his actual male anatomy. They put gold and silver on it because he got them to worship their gods of gold and silver, which will happen again. And I think that's what Trump does when he resets the system, brings in gold and silver. And Saturnalia, what they would do is they'd run around naked, they'd get drunk, they'd just be crazy people, a bunch of sodomy going on, like literal sodomy everywhere, just dudes having sex with dudes. Like that's not absolutely repulsive and disgusting and just running around in the open doing it, raping people. The poorer people would, be at the top. It was the idea of inverting society or a purge, if you will. But of course, then what they would do is they'd have the person give all the orders and be like, oh, so literally like they would break up into post or after parties basically. And they do the same things in the houses too. They'd pick like typically a child and they'd put them in charge, call them like the king of Saturn or Saturnalia, the king of Saturnalia, and they got to give them roles, right? Where they'd be like sing, dance, or whatever, But anyway, they would do this in the big festivals before they broke up into the after parties as well. And the main person that was picked, that would be like, they'd treat him like he was a king, even though he was like a servant or like a fool or whatever. And then they would kill him. They would sacrifice him. And that's the true dark, morbid history about it. And it goes all the way back to Nimrod. And it stems to sun worship, sun gods, Nimrod, Isis, Osiris, Gilgamesh. That's what this is all about. Every single part of it, right? So the evergreen is about the agriculture god and how like it'll come back after winter. We have mistletoe, which is for one, I don't know. The mistletoe thing is hard to get to the bottom of, to be honest. If anybody wants to tell me what they think about it. What do you use to buy XRPs? It's safe. Do you have to give your passport? No, you don't have to give your passport. I just use Coinbase and then I put it on an offline ledger wallet. So yeah, I forgot there's a bunch of stuff with like the mistletoe. Every single aspect of it is just a pagan holiday. Is XRP gonna rock it? Yes. Oh yeah, and I told everyone it was gonna crash in December too. So I told everyone that it was gonna crash in December, and that the quarter one, by the end of quarter one 2021 is when it's gonna start. Allegedly. I'm just giving you my predictions. I'm just some dude. I'm not a prophet. And of course, that's all about kissing and fornication. Yeah, well, the idea is even darker than that, right? Like, it used to be if you could get a girl trapped her under mistletoe, she had to, like, be with you. Super weird. What a gamma male tradition. And then, of course, we have where Santa Claus comes from, and it's the idea of mastering duality. He's resembling Baphomet. Does Baphomet have some connection to the center or the portal in the center? It seems the etymology of some of these stories and these words actually do allude to a portal in the center. Of course, it masters duality, so you have as above, so below. Again, Santa, Baphomet, Santa's original character. It has the evil side of him, inverted from his good side, and that's Krampus. So male, female, good, bad, as above, so below. So you have the good, bad, the light, the dark, resembled by Santa, basically a deified idea, again, representing Nimrod, or ultimately Lucifer, or Saturn, Satan. And mastering duality, making them the special boys. That's why they worship Baphomet and Mother, Father. Anyway, then he goes and finds the kids that are bad, captures them, kidnaps them, beats them, sometimes even brings them to hell in a basket, and all this crazy, creepy stuff. We showed you today, there's still festivals going on around the world where they celebrate this during Christmas, and they just wear demonic masks and scare children, all kinds of crazy stuff. This is a super deep, dark, morbid, deep rabbit hole. And in fact, it's way beyond like the Romans and stuff. It goes again all the way back to Nimrod, and probably before that back to the Aryans. Who knows? But what we do know, it was a way to revere the birth of Nimrod, who was again once eventually became 2/3 human, 1/3 God, and had sex with his mom. So there you go. Took over the world. They want to take him back. So be real eerie when you're protecting these giant occultic rituals across the board. Doesn't matter if you want to wave it away as saying, "Oh, it's my intention." No, you're protecting in a ritual. I don't really care what you have to say. You can go in a Catholic church and just be there, and you could have good intentions, but you start humming and like praying in vain repetitions like they do with all the idolatry going on. You're taking part in a Luciferian ritual. Doesn't matter if you know it or not. So you need to wake up. And now, I mean, people do know it. You do know it. You just don't want to accept it because you like Christmas so much. Well, I wonder what the source of that lore is. Oh, it's materialism. It's fleshly desires and materialism. So yeah, it has nothing to do with Yeshua. That's how people are being tricked. So wake up, have the uncomfortable conversation with your friends and family. That's my take. I think that's what you got to do always. There you go. What'd you think of XRP now? I think it's like a great investment, and it's 1,000 times faster and cheaper than Bitcoin. It's going to replace Swift, and that buy low, sell high. I told everyone it's going to crash in December. Yeah, no? I'll have you sum up the stream in 5 seconds. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Much love. Let me go talk to Dlive. What's up, Dlive? What's up, though, guys? Let me add some lemons. Distributing the lemons, baby. Thanks for kicking on Dlive. 57 people. Y'all are legends. It's probably advisable not to bother listening to it either, as it will just make you angry, as it did me and my mate in Austin, obviously. Oh, yeah, if you're talking about that conversation with Nathan, I'm not going to listen to that crap, obviously. I already know what he was doing. He was muting me while talking to his audience so it could look like he was just dominating me or something. I don't know. Who cares? I don't care about any of it. I have no beef with them. Whatever. If everyone can just get out of their feelings, yeah, I put you in your place in this stream. Well, whatever. It was overdue, to be honest. And yeah, dude, suck it up. I have no hard feelings. I don't care that you ask me how your nuts taste like a sodomite would. And I don't care that you call me a bunch of names that are clearly provably not true and pretend that you're smarter than me, which is laughably retarded. But outside of that, if you want to stop calling me names and stop muting me and stop lying and straw manning me, then I'll have no problem. In fact, I don't care either way. I'm gonna still say good things about you. I'm still gonna show people your show. I'm still gonna tell people about it. I don't really care, right? I mean, I'm not going to suggest it at the beginning of it. I never have, though, if we're going to be honest, because it's kind of reiterative. But my point is, I don't have any beef, bro. Like, you did this 100%. You did this. Everyone knows you did this. I'm trying to keep it cool so we can agree to move on and just keep it cool, right? This is just a sub conversation within the framework of the fact we all know the earth is flat. Ironically, my electrostatics argument, which is objective and no one can dispute it or debate it. That's why they don't debate it. They debate something I'm not debating, like 5-year-olds. But the entire point is actually it dismantles their nonsense that is gravity, because we get to accurately denotate the electric attractive force, therefore completely dismantling their false nonsense of gravity, which we've already done that because there's no evidence of it at all. But there is evidence of electrostatics. You just want to ignore it. You just want to ignore it, and it's weird, and it's intellectually incompetent and delusional. And so whatever. That's why I think it's so funny that really, if you had to just let me talk to Rumpus, I would have dismantled and explained it to the whole audience, but it didn't happen. So I keep getting caught up in talking about it, and that's why I don't know. That's why I didn't want to talk about it at all. I can't help it. It's just like who I am. Investing in Pfizer is more satanic than celebrating Christmas, but I think investing in new Graveler coins is more abstract, so we can sleep at night. Well, dude, okay, then I guess you can't invest in anything. I guess you can't even have money then. The point is that you can make money before the beast system gets enacted, take it out, and buy tangible things. Also, be ready to dip out. I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna read any ad homs or anything. I think I did enough myself, to be honest. Yeah, just move on, dude. It's no big deal. So, watch out for Christmas. It's a grabbler trick. That's all there is to it. See, I think the lemons got out. Yeah, we got the lemons out. Thanks for kicking everybody. Y'all are legends. We love you over here at Dlive. What's it, bro? Thank you, man. Much love. Well, shout out to all the legends that have hit me up with a sub on let's see what we got on Dlive. I think we got like 40 people. Oh wow, we got in the 50s now. Y'all are awesome. Thank you. We have 783 followers. So we just need 217 more. All right. Cool. Thanks for all the support. Much love. Great job tonight, as always. Good night. Thanks, bro. Yeah, so that's about it. I mean, the Christmas thing is pretty simple, kind of low-hanging fruit, to be honest, but I guess some people need to hear it, and I figured definitely time to get it in before Christmas, right? Just look into it. I'll link the videos I played. You always need to watch everything with discernment. It's really simple. It goes back to Saturnalia and everything. It's just super creepy and evil and has nothing to do with God, and it's inverted, and it's about Satan worship, like literally right in front of everyone. And then you have to lie to your kid to get them to partake in Satan worship. So it's better that you have a millstone tied around your neck and be thrown to the depths of the sea than mislead a child. And that's just the overarching premise here, is that pump the brakes. They're not kids either. Kids mean baby goats. So like I always say, seek and speak truth unequivocally. Don't back down to people. Weak-minded people will always get together via mob mentality and throw rocks to the people that are strong and independent-minded and willing to think outside of the box or think for themselves. That's how it always works across the board and throughout all of mankind. Plug from the box and plug from the matrix, really more so just a metaphorical ideological box. It's keeping you plugged in so you can't see reality. Unplug, because eventually everyone's going to be coaxed into plugging into the beast system. So you need to unplug from the beast system while you still can, and then you can obtain clarity. And you need to seek Yeshua. You might think you know everything. You don't. Trust me, I used to think the same thing. You don't know everything. Yeshua is very, very, very real, and has given me power over sleep paralysis and numerous other things that no one on this chat or anyone that watches this can explain. I just encourage people to get right. We'll probably dive into the creepy grabber that is Trump here in the future. I feel pretty led to keep exposing kind of what's going on with all of that. So we'll see where I go from here. I haven't made a decision on the stream, but thanks for kicking it. It's been real cool. And thanks for all the support. Like always, if you want links to support in the description, contacts also in the description. Working on merch and stuff, nothing to really announce yet. And so let me get to where I got the music ready. All right, cool. So yeah, there you go. Seek and speak truth unequivocally, and stop partaking in pagan practices, and think about the fact that Saturnalia is going on with the conjunction of Saturn. They know that you're worshiping. Your frequencies and your attention and what you focus on are very important, very strong, have real life manifest in the real material world. And the world extends beyond the material perceivable world, of course. There's stupid humans that scratch their heads out of arrogance, think that they can say that everything's limited materialistic confinement. And it's just about as stupid as a thing that anyone could claim. But anyway, I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Peace out.
Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock it, twirl, somewhere orbited. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a simple that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it and using cause informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there's shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what support is this? We porting ships, supporting gifts. Of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant disinforming this. It looked like we were storing tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those as subordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real?